Welcome back to the Victory Education Lounge, everyone. I'm your host, Maurice, and today we're diving into part 14 of our series on insulin resistance. Before we begin, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts or experiences below. Your engagement helps us reach more people with this vital information. Today, we're exploring stress and insulin resistance, an overlooked connection. We'll delve into how stress, both acute and chronic, can significantly influence our risk of developing insulin resistance. We'll also discuss solutions, management techniques, and prevention strategies, along with their pros and cons, and provide real-life examples to illustrate these points. Let's start by understanding that stress, while a normal part of life, can have profound effects on our metabolic health when it becomes chronic or overwhelming. Stress triggers a cascade of hormonal responses in our body, including the release of cortisol, which can interfere with insulin function and promote insulin resistance. Have you ever wondered how stress affects your health, particularly your metabolic health? This is a question we often overlook, but today, we're going to explore the fascinating yet complex relationship between stress and insulin resistance. Insulin resistance, a condition where our cells become less responsive to the hormone insulin, can lead to a myriad of health problems, including type 2 diabetes and heart disease. But did you know that stress, both acute and chronic, can significantly influence our risk of developing insulin resistance? Here's how it works. Stress, while a normal part of life, can have profound effects on our metabolic health when it becomes chronic or overwhelming. It triggers a cascade of hormonal responses in our body, including the release of a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol in excess can interfere with insulin function, promoting insulin resistance. Today, we're going to explore 10 key stress-related factors associated with insulin resistance. So, stay tuned. This is a journey you won't want to miss. First, we'll look at how chronic work stress can contribute to insulin resistance. Picture this. You're under constant pressure, meeting deadlines, dealing with demanding clients, and facing high expectations. This is the reality for many, like our example, Sarah, a high-pressure executive. The prolonged stress of such a work environment leads to the body's continuous release of cortisol, a stress hormone. Cortisol serves a purpose in our body's fight or flight response. However, when we're stuck in a state of chronic stress, our bodies continuously pump out cortisol. This can create a hormonal imbalance which interferes with insulin function. Over time, this can lead to insulin resistance, a condition where our cells become less responsive to insulin, leading to higher blood sugar levels. Sarah, despite maintaining a healthy diet and exercise routine, noticed her blood sugar levels rising. This is a clear example of how work stress, if not managed properly, can have a significant impact on our metabolic health. Work stress isn't the only factor. Let's delve into other stress-related factors that can contribute to insulin resistance. First on the list is financial stress. Money worries can create a state of chronic stress, disrupting our hormonal balance. Take John, for instance. He's a 50-year-old man facing significant debt. His constant anxiety over finances is affecting his sleep and eating habits, which in turn can lead to insulin resistance. Next, we have relationship stress. Troubled personal relationships can be a significant source of chronic stress. Maria, a 38-year-old woman going through a difficult divorce, finds herself stress eating and gaining weight, both of which can contribute to insulin resistance. Caregiving stress is another factor. The demands of caring for a sick family member can lead to chronic stress. Tom, a 55-year-old caring for his elderly parent, neglects his own health due to time constraints and worry. This neglect can lead to unhealthy habits, which can subsequently result in insulin resistance. Academic stress is not to be overlooked. Students facing exam pressure or academic challenges may experience stress-induced insulin resistance. Lisa, a 40-year-old woman returning to school, notices her blood sugar becoming more difficult to control during exam periods. Then we have PTSD and trauma. Post-traumatic stress disorder can lead to long-term hormonal imbalances. David, a 60-year-old veteran with PTSD, struggles with metabolic issues related to his condition, which can contribute to insulin resistance. Social isolation is another significant stressor. Lack of social support can lead to feelings of stress and anxiety. Emma, a 35-year-old woman who works from home, feels isolated and anxious. This leads to poor eating habits and reduced physical activity, both of which can trigger insulin resistance. Environmental stress is also a factor. Living in a high-stress environment can contribute to chronic stress. Mike, a 42-year-old man living in a noisy, crowded urban area, experiences constant low-level stress affecting his sleep and eating patterns, which can lead to insulin resistance. Health-related stress is another factor. Chronic health conditions can be a source of ongoing stress. Janet, a 50-year-old woman recently diagnosed with a chronic illness, constantly worries about her health. This worry exacerbates her condition and can also contribute to insulin resistance. Finally, we have perfectionism and self-imposed stress. Setting unrealistic standards for oneself can lead to chronic stress. Robert, a 58-year-old man with perfectionist tendencies, constantly pushes himself to exhaustion, neglecting self-care. This neglect can lead to unhealthy habits, which can subsequently result in insulin resistance. As we can see, these stress-related factors, when chronic or overwhelming, can significantly contribute to insulin resistance. Let's recap what we've learned about stress and insulin resistance. We've peeled back the layers on the often overlooked connection between stress and insulin resistance. We've discovered that stress, whether acute or chronic, can significantly influence our risk of developing this metabolic disorder. The body's hormonal response to stress, particularly the release of cortisol, can interfere with insulin function and promote insulin resistance. We've traversed through 10 key stress-related factors associated with insulin resistance, each one backed up by a real-life example to help illustrate the point. We've explored how chronic work stress, as exemplified by Sarah's experience, can elevate cortisol levels, disrupting the body's insulin function. We then delved into the impact of financial stress, as shown through John's story, and relationship stress, as Maria's situation demonstrated. We saw how caregiving stress, through Tom's experience, and academic stress, as in Lisa's case, can contribute to insulin resistance. We also looked at how trauma and PTSD, like David's condition, can lead to long-term hormonal imbalances, affecting our metabolic health. We examined the adverse effects of social isolation, as Emma's story outlined, and environmental stress, which Mike's experience highlighted. We also understood how health-related stress, as in Janet's case, can exacerbate existing metabolic issues. Finally, we learned about the role of self-imposed stress and perfectionism, through Robert's story, in promoting chronic stress and potentially leading to insulin resistance. Each of these stories paints a vivid picture of how various forms of stress can contribute to insulin resistance. They underscore the critical need for stress management and prevention strategies in maintaining our metabolic health. Understanding these stress-related factors is the first step in managing and preventing insulin resistance. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll discuss solutions and management techniques. Thank you for watching. Remember, managing stress is not about eliminating all stressors from your life. That's often impossible. Instead, it's about developing resilience and effective coping strategies. Everyone's stress response is unique, so it may take some experimentation to find what works best for you. It's also important to note that while stress management is crucial for metabolic health, it works best in combination with other lifestyle factors like a healthy diet and regular physical activity. Thank you for joining us for this exploration of the connection between stress and insulin resistance. I hope this information helps you understand how stress can affect your metabolic health and empowers you to take steps towards better stress management. Remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll discuss the role of sleep in insulin resistance. The information provided in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as medical advice or to replace consultation with a qualified healthcare professional. Always consult your doctor before making significant changes to your lifestyle or starting any new health regimen.